Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Dr. Amber Rashid, and today my topic of presentation is Introduction to Immunization and EPI in Pakistan. Learning objectives: Introduction, active and passive immunization, types of vaccines, EPI in Pakistan, current statistics, recent updates, and MCQs at the end. At the end of the presentation, the participants will be able to describe the basic concepts of immunization and what is expanded program of immunization in Pakistan and how it works. So coming to the immunization, immunization is the process of artificially inducing immunity or providing protection from the diseases. So what is active immunization? Active immunization is the process of stimulating the body to produce antibodies and other immune responses through administration of vaccines or toxoids. It's either through natural infections or through artificially by vaccinations. So passive immunization is provision of temporary immunity by administration of preformed antibodies derived from human or animals, and the roots are either from the maternal antibodies, that is from the breastfeeding, or by the monoclonal antibodies through passive immunization. So the process of generation of immunity after vaccination. It's the primary response when the antigen is administered first to the human and who have never been exposed to it. And there is a latent period of induction of 3 to 10 days before the antibodies appear in the blood. The antibodies that is elicited first is entirely of IgM type here when the vaccination is administered. And later on, for 2 to 3 days or more, it reaches the peak level and then it declines almost as fast as it develops between 2 to 4 days. Then meanwhile, if the antigenic stimulus was sufficient, IgG antibodies appears in first 7 to 10 days and it gradually falls. And the nature of and extent of this primary response depends on several factors like dose, several intrinsic factors, several prenatal factors, vaccine factors like vaccine, type of vaccine, strain, adjuvants and doses, and the administration factors, vaccination schedules, sites and routes, etc. So then there is a secondary response that is also known as a booster response. The booster response differs in several ways from the primary response as a shorter latent period, and it produces antibodies, as you can see, in more rapid and more abundant. And the time period is also short. The secondary booster response is also antibody response maintained at higher levels for a longer period of time, and it elicits a stronger response as compared to the first primary response. And the antibody elicits tends to have greater ability and capacity to bind to antigen. So there are several types of vaccines. One is the live vaccine, second is the killed, and other types are toxoids, recombinant, conjugated, and combination vaccines. So a little about live vaccines, as we know that these are attenuated, in which the antigenicity is reduced, virulence is reduced, and the antigenicity is maintained, and the antigens are live and they multiply whenever they are administered in the body. For example, viral are measles, mumps, rubella, and so on, and the bacterial are BCG and oral typhoid. Killed vaccines are killed vaccines are produced whenever these virus-derived vaccines are treated with chemicals and they are inactivated, and then the vaccine is given to the patient, like JE virus, anti-rabies virus, and influenza virus. Other types are toxoids, protein vaccines which have purified proteins, in vitro cultures, recombinant vaccines like hepatitis B, HPV, and polysaccharide-based vaccines. There are conjugate type vaccines. The conjugate type vaccines like for SARS-CoV-2 virus gene was used and a receptor binding domain with the spike protein where the gene was inserted for bacteria, and then SARS-CoV protein was purified and combined with a strong antigen such as tetanus toxoid or singularly, and then the immune response is generated. And there are also combination vaccines in which multiple vaccines are given at one time in a single vial, for example, pentavalent DPT MMR. These are the several milestones that have been achieved since this process of vaccination started from 1721 with the introduction of smallpox. Then the first successful vaccine was 1796. Later on, the first combination vaccine was given in 1948 with first polysaccharide in 1970 and going on to the first recombinant vaccine in 1981 to the reverse vaccinology of meningococcus B in 2013. So some of the challenges we faced while we were working up on the COVID-19 vaccine, and the several factors started from the global level to the individual level, were at the global level, the availability and affordability were the main issues. National level, political commitment, regulation, supply chain equity, and data collection and human resources. And at individual levels, vaccine hesitancy was an important factor. Along with these accessibilities and duration of immunities and other licensing processes. So how EPI works in Pakistan? So there is an expanded program on immunization known as EPI program that runs in Pakistan, and it covers the immunization of children under 5 years of age, decreasing the child morbidity and mortality due to vaccine preventable diseases. And a child needs only 6 visits in his or her life to complete vaccination against 11 dreadful diseases. The main objectives of this EPI schedule is first to give the safe, effective, and cost-effective vaccination against BPDs. And there is also a goal to set standards and guidelines for immunization aligned with the global goals, so that there is a generation of local evidence for vaccination against BPDs. It also aims to protect mothers and newborns against tetanus, and immunization children with these vaccines may avert up to 17% of childhood mortality, all coming under the SDG 3 on reducing child mortality and morbidity. And several milestones have also been achieved where different vaccines were added in EPI schedule against BPDs in Pakistan, and these are so on. It started all from 1976 and then going on to the expanded nationwide EPI program in 1978. And then there was in 1994, there was a national polio immunization day started on. With 2002, there was hepatitis B vaccine introduced. In 2019, pentavalent, then later on the pneumococcal vaccine was added in 2012. IPV was introduced, 10 weeks in inactivated polio vaccine, and later on in 2017, rotavirus was added in the schedule. So this is a routine immunization schedule starting from birth at 6 weeks, 10 weeks, and going up to the 15 weeks with ending on MR. And now recently a happy singular dose has also been added in the at birth. So going on to the statistics for the vaccination coverage in different regions of Pakistan for 12 to 13 months of age children shows that Punjab was good with 80% vaccination coverage. Later to going on to Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and then Gilgit-Baltistan with the, and coming up to Balochistan with the lowest coverage. And it was seen that the coverage has recently increased in the last 5 years. It was 554 in 2012 to 66 in 2017-18. These were the trends of childhood vaccination from 1990 to the 2018, with good upward graph showing the all basic vaccinated children going up to 66%. And with little children having no vaccinations, and the single vaccines had also good coverages, especially in the province Punjab. And only 51% of children had 4% appropriate vaccinations, and 4% had none of them. So there is a need to strengthen this EPI service to increase this overall coverage, for which the WHO has supported the development of comprehensive multi-layer plan for a federal and provincial EPI programs. There is also capacity building is ongoing for mid-level managers. Effective vaccine management is also supported, and steps are being taken to improve data quality by periodic data quality assessment and program review. These are the several health messages, as most of the people follow these government vaccination schedules where free vaccination provided. So there are several health messages being used. This is the main flyer for the schedule, and this is also a main flyer with the helpline given as well. And these are other health messages commonly used in different hospital settings and vaccination centers for raising awareness among parents and guardians, and for healthcare providers and other healthcare workers as well. So recently there was a measles and rubella catch-up campaign under this EPI program that was held between 15th to 27th of November of 2021. And the targets were to approach Punjab, were campaigned to conduct all provinces, and these were the populations, estimated populations that were targeted with these logistics of 77,000 vaccines and etc. So overall, the achievements of EPI till now is that there has been a shifting of federal and provincial budgets for the development to recurrent sites, centralized procurements of vaccine and logistics in post-evolution scenarios, 10% increase in immunization coverage gain all over the country over the period of 2 years to the third-party verification survey, introduction of IPV2 in the routine immunization as a part of end game polio strategy, switch of pneumococcal vaccine to pneumococcal 13, PCV13 vaccine is a successful implementation. Effective and efficient distribution of more than 70 million COVID-19 vaccines across the country. And introduction to typhoid conjugate vaccine at Sindh, Punjab and Islamabad. And expansion of cold chain capacity by installing 11,000 ILRs, that are the ILRs across the country, and the distribution of 12,054 motorbikes for vaccination in Azad, Jammu Kashmir, Gilgit, Baltistan, Islamabad. These stats I've already mentioned. So coming to the recent updates, there has been a rising pediatric morbidity and mortality in the developing countries, recently published, showing that high rates of morbidity and mortality in Pakistan as compared to the rest of the developing world is make it extremely important to find out the causes, for which WHO reaches goals and global well-being. And the overpoint of highlights of this shows that the most important factors include low vaccination coverage in low socioeconomic class in urban regions, as well as cyclical and seasonal patterns shown by some diseases. Also, there are some causative factors that have huge impact on morbidity. And the data also predicts the future admission rates and prepare accordingly and aid policymakers to determine who to blame. Now, in continuity to the previous paper, Pakistan ranks third globally with most unvaccinated children, the impact on parental perception and attitudes. And it was seen that there was a strong association found between parental knowledge, immunization, vaccines, and willingness. So it was also seen that the lack of knowledge of certain vaccines like Penta, pneumococcal, and IPV was considered with inability to access free vaccines was was due to their own firm belief, and it was due to there was also a lack of awareness and facilities for a better and beneficial programs. 22% parents said that administering multiple vaccines at a time would be harmful, and 21.7% believe that it could cause the disease. So for this, a critical review was there for analytical techniques used in expanded program of immunization, and it was revealed that the existing approaches of data analytical techniques without considering the complete complexity of expanded program of immunization, which includes the maintenance of cold chain systems and proper distribution of vaccines and qualities, the healthcare facilities. And we believe that non-centralized immunization data with right set of machine learning and artificial intelligence based techniques will not only improve vaccination coverage but will help predicting the future trends and patterns of this coverage. Now it's time for the MCQs. Coming up to the first MCQ, every year many door-to-door campaigns as well as the regular EPI schedule administers hundreds of polio vaccination doses to children under 5. Recently, IPV has been included in EPI schedule as so polio can be eradicated. Which of the following can be done best? All choose the best option to eradicate. Attention to the sewage control, killed polio, live polio, or combination of killed and live vaccines. Any idea which is the best option?
D.
Yes, D is
B.
the right answer. D is the right answer. Using combination vaccines in forms of killed and live vaccines separately at different times given as in EPI schedule is the best strategy. Most viral vaccines are produced by which of the following? Either it's through traditional cell culture techniques, either it's molecular biology, either it's animal tissues in vitro, or either it's virus-like particles that are used in viral vaccines. Actually, most viral, yes, A is the right answer. Most viral vaccines are produced by this traditional cell culture technique. Which of the following statement is incorrect about the live attenuated vaccines? It is prepared using whole weakened live bacteria or virus. It can generate a long-term immune response with administration of single dose. Measles, MMR, and polio, oral polio, are live attenuated. It is stable at normal room temperature.
D.
Yes, D is the right answer because these live vaccines are vulnerable to heat and heat sensitive, and they are not stable, and the VVM is given for monitoring the viability on the vial. So D is the right option. Which of the following should receive pre-exposure hepatitis B vaccines in case of exposure? Chance of exposure, the short-term foster carers, sewage workers, people with chronic liver diseases, or people with chronic renal diseases.
B.
Yes, B is the right answer because whenever there is a chance for any chance of having it contracting a disease and the occupational chance, so pre-exposure hepatitis B vaccine is recommended. Immunization is an important and effective way to protect humans from different types of infections. The two main types of immunization are active and passive. All of the following statements are correct about active and passive immunization except both are naturally as well as artificially. Active immunization is introduced. Inoculation of live attenuated. Both types of immunization may provide long-term protections to immune systems. And administration of preformed antibodies are a form of passive immunization.
C.
C is the right answer because both passive and active immunizations don't provide same type of immunity for the same duration of time. Which of the following type of vaccines did Moderna and Pfizer BioNTech companies design for COVID-19? Either it were messenger RNA-based vaccines, subunit vaccines, toxoid vaccines, or vector-borne vaccines.
A.
Yes, these were messenger RNA-based vaccines were highly effective, and now Pakistan is also using this Pfizer vaccine as a booster dose, mostly given at various vaccination centers. Which of the following statement is false regarding the important characteristic of safe and effective vaccines? It must be safe and easy to use with low side effects in humans. It must provide immunity to at least 15% of the population. It must be available at low cost, and it must provide long-lasting immunity. Which option?
B.
Yes, B is the
B.
right answer because there is no set value for any kind of vaccine to provide immunity for the coverage or any set standards for the coverage. So B is the right answer. WHO and CDC has recommended vaccination for children under 5 years of age in Pakistan for several infectious diseases. Which of the following vaccine does not come under the list of mandatory recommended vaccines administered during childhood in an API schedule? Either it's a DTaP, it's polio, it's MMR, hepatitis A, B, or rabies.
E.
Yes, the answer would be rabies. If I remove hepatitis A. The ninth is all of the following vaccines are examples of the recombinant type of vaccines that are currently used in developed countries except vaccine for hepatitis B, vaccines for human papilloma viruses, vaccine against Haemophilus influenza type B, and vaccine against hepatitis A vaccine.
D.
Yes, D is the right answer because it's not the type of the conjugate vaccines. And last is bacterial meningitis strikes babies more often than any other age groups. Which vaccine in an EPI schedule is directly targeted for preventing this type of meningitis? It's a tetanus, it's Hib vaccine, HIV vaccine, or varicella vaccine.
B.
Hib
That's Hib vaccine is given in pentavalent vaccines in third doses at 6, 10, and 14 weeks of after birth. So this is the key. These are the references, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Amba. It is a very nice presentation. As you know, today we have a research workshop of the postgraduate students, and we are going to facilitate it. And many people from our department, faculty members, they are involved in this workshop. So that's why I have written that I may be leaving early. However, your presentation was very engaging, and I can't stop myself from listening till the end. And this is how Dr. Amber always put a lot of hard work and very good ideas in her presentation. Her, especially about the recent advances, the recombinant and RNA vaccine, that part was really very good. And I would appreciate if all the people must follow her example, and they also have a very good part of the recent advances with the relevance of the current practices that are taking place. Before COVID-19, we know that mRNA vaccine, they were not ever used in the history of mankind. So this COVID-19 has given us the opportunity, as we all say, that every cloud has a silver lining. So it is one of the silver lining that mRNA vaccine was first time used in the history of mankind, and it has produced very good results, as Dr. Amber has clearly mentioned about Pfizer vaccine. So it is really a commendable effort. Only one thing that we have to be taken care of, and that is the side effects, especially the long-term side effects, are yet to be established. We know that there are certain vaccines that are very safe, and it has been proven over these decades that they are safe in use. However, what happened after 10 years or 15 years or 13 years? We need a continuous surveillance system and continuous monitoring of all these vaccines, especially mRNA vaccine, to find out the evidence about its further safety. What we have found till date, it is very safe, it is very effective, it is efficacy, especially for the new variants of concern like Omicron was very well established. Still, we have to do a surveillance to know the long-term effects. Thank you very much. These are my few points that I want to add in this presentation. Overall, it is a very good presentation. And Allah Hafiz, and see you next time. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz, ma'am.